We're going to take this puppy back and make our way to the Cha-Cha Shirley Modowny podcast, an icon in the world of motorsports. We'll be capturing her today. That should be just a ton of fun. We were at my executive producer role with WLE TV. We're doing a film on the EV world and the Peterson Museum. We were out there just a few weeks ago for the Electric Revolutionaries exhibition, and it's interesting what's happening in the EV world. Everything from super cool art bikes to very usable sport bikes, some that look like bicycles with electric motors, and on. And of course the Curtis One, which is a gorgeous piece of art. It's about an $85,000 to $100,000 bike, each one custom, but they're extraordinarily beautiful. Bikes like this, Zero, of course, has been in the game maybe longer than most, maybe longer than anyone, and they've found a way to style a bike like the combustion engines we're used to. This one has a fully sported look with that full fairing, and man, they're doing great work with it. Again, I would love to see that haptic feedback that some of the other manufacturers are working on, and would love to get that sensory feeling, get some feedback from the bike. And I'd like to hear a little bit more, as I said, a little bit more of that engine whine, that turbine whine or airplane sound that some of the bikes have. This one may have it at higher speeds, I would guess, but we're in New Orleans and really nowhere to get up to speed unless you get on the interstates. The interstates here are horrendous. The roads are horrendous in a different way, between the potholes and the mega cement moguls and the drop-offs and the cave-ins and the driving, which is subpar would be a nice way to put it. And here we are again, about to experience that on a different level. No one seems to know which way they want to go. Wow. Okay, here we go. Around the buses. Now, I haven't seen too much trouble in terms of lack of sound, people not hearing you. You know, what's interesting about the EV bike, because the torque is so immediate, if you have a sense that you may be in trouble or someone may not see you, you hit that throttle just to measure, and man, you're there. You're out of their blind spot. Of course, you know, the horn. Wow, this bike feels like it wants to lean in like a sport bike and do its thing, I have to say. There's the horn. It likes the curves. It likes the curves. I'm so surprised by the weight and yet the maneuverability of this bike. You know, I liked the SRF, the naked version that was more upright, but I have to say, maneuverability, I'm picking the SRS. The aerodynamics are decidedly better. You've got the windscreen. Now we're about to go through some water. I need an enduro bike to go through this. Perhaps they'll get through and we'll find the shallow water behind them. But yeah, it's see what this does for the brakes. Going through shin-high water. We've seen it all on these two EV rides with the Zeros. Has performed clutch. There goes another New Orleans driver right through a red light. They don't care here, folks. So you got to drive safe, no matter what you're riding, no matter how capable you feel. Drive defensively till you find some room to open things up, especially in the city, especially in New Orleans. Especially in New Orleans. It's crazy hot. It's 90 plus. The humidity's got to be like 99%. This is just crazy. Whew. All right, let's go. Throttle up. Just no room in New Orleans to leave the throttle open, but I'm guessing 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. And some of these roads still a bit damp, going through the water. Don't want to get in a spot where I have to really test the brakes. But look at this. I'm using my knees, hands a little bit. Man, 513 pounds, and you can move it. It's not like a 384 pound KTM or something, but it's more than enough maneuverable. Man, I want to get this thing on a commute, a long commute. See what kind of mileage you get out of it. Let's test the maneuverability here in some traffic. Great thing about a bike is you got more options. You got more options to do what you need to do. People are going to pull out in front of you like that one, but the options do open up to you in a way that they don't in a car. Beat them through the parking lot, avoid the construction. Look at this bike, it just whips around. 513 pounds and maneuverable. Maneuverable in the city. So cool. So cool. Yep. Nice turn radius. Look at that. Little U-turn on Iberville. This bike works, folks, as advertised. Well, the guys on mopeds don't even know how to drive. Somebody's always looking to turn into you. Use your horn, use your regenerative braking. The brakes are really good. I didn't check and see what kind of tires were running, but they're doing the job, I can tell you that. A bike like this can work in New Orleans, quite literally the worst roads in the nation. I think it can work anywhere. Wow. It's a fun experience, folks. EV would be a great bike to add to your garage, even if it's not your daily driver. Dodging potholes, dodging dirt, dodging drivers. It's all working. Suspension's good. Maybe not the very best suspension I've been on, but in this city, on a bike, you would typically feel beat to death. I feel great. Well done, Zero. Do a little lane split, see what we got. Woo! Do the bumps. Yeah. I'm digging it. I am digging it. What is really interesting, though this does not have the haptic feedback portion thing going on like a couple other manufacturers, what is really cool because of the Zero sound reality is that you hear the wind. I mean, it is as close to flying. You don't have the combustion sounds. You hear the wind when you have your visor up. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's very cool. Very cool. It's a different sensory experience, but it is super cool, folks. Look at that. Look at that stability. Wow. Can't do that hands-off thing too far here in New Orleans because the next pothole is always 100 yards or less away, usually 20 yards away or less. Woo! Rejuvenating ride is the Zero SRS. Love this fared version. Love it. Here in New Orleans, they are not bike conscious. You see that guy on my left, he wasn't going to give way to a bike wanting to switch lanes, or they just don't care. It's not the bike culture of California and a lot of other places. That's where the regenerative braking and the torque are very valuable. Can get you out of trouble. I saw that with our first ride on the naked version. Seeing it again today. I'm not sure why I don't feel the regenerative braking as much on the SRS. I'll have to ask them. My good friends at Moto Julia gave me the demo for the day. But that regenerative braking is very valuable. Coming back up to the wet stuff where we started. Roads are still wet. Not uncommon. See people go straight through the lights here. Be safe, riders. Always be looking. It's not always you that get yourself in trouble on a bike. It's the other guys, especially if you're in cities where bike culture is not front and center. Defensive riding skills are a must. That regenerative braking helps in the rain too. It's not harsh, but slows you down just enough. I'm digging the EV experience, have to say. Super fun. Once they get the range up, I think they become a real viable option as a daily, or certainly a secondary daily. I'm an old school and a purist guy. Love the petrol, love the sounds, the smells, the feels, all of that. But this is really just as enjoyable an experience. It's just very different than what we're used to as gearheads. It's really cool, really fun. I don't think that guy has any chance if he wants to catch me. He has zero chance on his four-wheeler. Pretty sure he didn't have the torque I have. Again, what I love is the relaxed city driving. You just come off the throttle, put your feet down. You don't have to deal with the herky-jerky gears and clutches of some big power bikes, that are really good on the straightaways, but not so good in the city. They're always wanting to take off. This bike has every bit of power as any bike you can find, and it's just butter smooth. None of the herky-jerky for city riding. Off the throttle, one finger on the brake, feet down, boom. Super sweet. Zero's figured it out.